Hey guys, Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. Today I've got this cute little hot cocoa tote for you. So it's a really fun, fast treat. You can, of course, add some designer series paper to the back and then maybe a little die cut shape with a greeting, and then you could sign it if you want to. But I'm doing just kind of a simple version that you can make a bunch of pretty fast, overall pretty fast. It holds a little Debbie soft gingerbread cookie, peppermint spoon, and a Land O'Lakes classic cocoa packet. Again, you could do some more designer series paper in here if you want to, but I'm keeping them pretty simple overall in case you want to make a bunch and spread the cheer, right? Okay, so let's get started here. This is what I'm making as kind of a bonus support project for those of you who purchased our More Than Autumn Stamp-A-Stack class, either in the PDF, which is still available at kitchentablestamper.com/shop, and then go to our PDF store. You can find this here. It's a card class that matches this treat. So if you purchase the card class and you want to make some matching treats, there will be a printable project sheet for this on the blog. Click through in the description below and then click today's project sheet underneath the embedded video. It'll pull up a PDF that you can print and put with your More Than Autumn Stamp-A-Stack class. If you were one of the few that got the limited edition class packets, this is what you do with your leftover designer series paper, twine, peppermints. We always put plenty of those items in the class packets so you can keep going with matching treats, right? All right, so check out the link in the description below for today's content. You'll see project details. Click here. That'll take you to the blog. You can get this PDF. If you're interested in purchasing our More Than Autumn Stamp-A-Stack card class that matches this project, there's a link in the description below. Let's get started with our project today. I've got a piece of soft seafoam cardstock. We're going to score it up and trim it according to the template. There will be a picture of this template and measurements and instructions all in that printable project sheet. So you don't need to scramble to keep up here. Let me show you how we're going to do this. We're starting with 10 1/4 by 5. It's soft seafoam. We're going to pop this in on the 5-inch side, and we'll score both 5-inch sides at 3/4. So rotate end over end and do 3/4. Then we're going to score on the 10 1/4 inch side, and here's what I'll show you. We're going to go 3 1/4 and 4. And this is how the template puts it. 3 1/4, 4, and then 7 1/4 stop. So 7 1/4, and you're going to stop at that first intersecting score line. Then you can rotate this end over end 180 degrees and score at 3 inches stop. So 3 inches, but stop when you hit the intersecting score line. All right, now let's use the bone folder, work those score lines, and trim according to the template. All right, so we've worked all of our scores with the bone folder except for these little stop lines. Those are actually a guide for trimming. So let's go ahead and cut this up according to the template. I'm going to start with these bottom tabs here. These are going to be straight on the long rectangle, and then make an angle cut on your bottom tab, angle cut on the square part, and then straight along the rectangle part. Then we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Make ourselves a little glue tab for the bottom here. Now we're going to go to those partial score lines, which are our indicators. We're going to cut an angle, stop at the intersecting score line, and then cut down the intersecting score line to remove this large rectangle piece. All right, let's do the same on the other side. Angle up and cut out the large rectangle. Now let's get some tear and tape adhesive so we can assemble the box. We're going to add tear and tape here and here on each side. So like that. All right, let's remove the liner on all of these. All right, then we're going to fold in from the back sides and up from the bottom, square that up and stick the tab to the outside. I love this little trick by sticking the tab to the outside. Then you bring the front back and that conceals that tab, so there's nothing on the inside here to get stuck as you're filling this with treats. Let's do a quick corner round on the top. That's optional. I like the way that it finishes it off and makes it look. So I'm going to do a 1/4 inch and just, that's a little wonky. There. All right, our designer series paper is 3 by 3 1/4 holly and 1 1/2 by 3 1/4 the plaid. I've used the opposite papers on this treat that I used on the Stampin' Stack card class, so you'll have plenty of these patterns if you want to copy this exactly using your paper that's left from the packet. All right, we've got our designer series paper on the front of the pocket, super cute. Slide aside. Got some die cutting that's done here. Let me show you what I did. All right, so the rest of my pieces here from Real Red, I cut this circtangle tag. We love to call it the circtangle. That's from Greetings of the Season. I don't have a die chart for that one yet, but let me show you. My circles are from Spotlight on Nature. It's the second from the smallest, Radiating from Garden Green. And then Everyday Details got 1 7/8. So the second smallest, the first smallest with this detail, that's from Soft Seafoam. And then I did a little Granny Apple Green bit here, and this little die is the tag reinforcer from the Merriest Trees dies. Let me show you that set really quick so maybe it rings a bell for you. It was from last year's Christmas offering. It's got this great tag in it, and that's the little loop reinforcer for the tag in the set. I love that piece. It's such a good detail to use with anything. And then I did Hot Cocoa twice from Real Red and then glued them together to get a double thick hot and cocoa. And I did Hot Cocoa from the glimmer paper. This one is I believe it's Cherry Cobbler. It might be Real Red, but it's from the Festive 12 by 12 glimmer paper. Let's glue some of these layers together. This is 5/16 of an inch wide. It's the perfect width for those little like buildable greetings, and it's about 2 1/8 long. You can just use a scrap and then cut off the excess if you want. I'm going to get my liquid glue and add some to the back of the seafoam and then to the back of the garden green. Put that on our circtangle tag. See, I like this. This is satisfying. We're clearing up the clutter. Then I'm going to take my reinforcer and fold it. I do it inside out and then right side in. And then I'll add a little bit of glue above and below the hole on each side. And then just line that up with the tag. See what a cute little detail that is? Just a little pop of color, little finish. There's our tag. Now I'm gonna grab my silicone mat, and I've got some more multi-purpose liquid glue, but I've transferred it into this little squeeze bottle, and that's gonna make stacking up these greetings much easier. I've got the double layer of cherry cobbler, hot and cocoa, and the glimmer. So we're gonna stack this up, and this greeting will be 3 levels thick then. Not as thick as like a chipboard, definitely not as thick as our dimensional foam. We have a dimensional sheet that you can die cut. This isn't quite as tall as that, not as rigid as chipboard, but it really gives a nice dimension to the project. You can see those words stick off from the project. I like doing it with the liquid glue, using the craft sheet and the little transfer to the fine point bottle, because then it can slide the layers until they all line up perfectly in place. Let's do the same for hot. You can see I use very, very little glue. A little bit goes a very long way. Layer that on there. It's not lined up perfectly. That's why I love the glue. I've got some time to give it a slide and a press and get a really nice looking hot. All right, now let's get those on the tag. I'm not going to put any glue past to the tail of the egg because it's going to slide under my little cup. But if you guys follow me, you know that I love to get the pieces glued down, because then it's less likely that I'll lose them. So I just didn't put glue underneath the very end of the greeting there, so I can slide that cup under after we make it. Let's go ahead and get hot on there, same way. Loving the little squeeze bottle. You need less glue than you think. A little bit is sufficient. Add hot. And then we'll set that aside for a minute and do some stamping. Got my Stampin' Pierce mat, that little 5/16 strip, a piece of scrap from the Take a Bow Designer Series paper. And I don't know, do you guys do this too? This is from another project, and sometimes when there's big spaces like this, I'll just leave it on my desk. I had nice, clean, tidy little pieces to stamp on already, but I'm like, you know what? Let me show the reality of the situation here. And I leave these sitting around just in a neat little pile. I don't let it get out of control, but I like to use them when I'm creating. I do it all the time. Clearly, I don't do it in videos. But it's a regular part of my daily stamping life. So I thought, you know what, let me just show the reality of it. So I just grabbed a scrap off my desk, and you'll see perfectly, there's my whipped cream, tuxedo black on basic white scraps. And there's my little gingerbread. And how about a candy cane? Now I don't think that any spot here is quite big enough for the cup, but that's okay. I just made a whole lot better use of this little scrap before it hits the trash can. So if you're like me and do that, let me know in the comments if that's kind of news to you and you're going to start doing it. Let me know that in the comments too. All right, so back to our 5/16 inch strip. Got Love You More Than. Hope my head's not underneath the camera, but this is the perfect size for these little mix and match greetings. Set that aside. Then we'll take one of those tidy little scraps that you usually see me use, and we'll put the cup on that tidy little scrap. Well, we've got that stamp. We're gonna take this piece of scrap Designer Series paper and ink the stamp again, and we're only concerned with the little like wrap part, the little cozy part of the image. So we'll get that stamped on the Designer Series paper. I think that's all of our stamping. So let's color our images. Got some Stampin' blends here. That's Pecan Pie, light and dark. I've got Poppy Parade, light and dark. And then 100 and 200, which are the neutral collection, deep. They're made for the skin tones. I love them for things like coffee. So we're gonna do 200. We're gonna start with 200 and fill our coffee. Get a nice solid fill. Okay, nice solid fill. Then we'll take 100, just a little bit deeper, and we'll flick from the extreme right and extreme left to give this cup a little shape. Then we'll just take the light and flick to bring those two together. Exactly the same process for the bottom of the cup. All right, there's our coffee. Now the candy cane. You can do real red here too. The paper is got real red. I kind of like the glow that you get from Poppy Parade. It's, I don't know, the light Poppy Parade feels like a little neon to me. But then when you take the dark Poppy Parade and add a little contour around the outside edge, it brings it out of the neon and just makes it kind of glow a little bit. I don't know. Your choice, either one will work. And then we're gonna take our gingerbread and I'm gonna do light pecan pie to fill him in. And if you're making a lot of these, you can be done right there. If you want to, you can add a little dark along the left edge, just a touch, and bring it together. And then you get just a little bit more dimension. It's such a small little image though, and so cute. You can take as little or as much time as you want with it. All right, so we've got our stamping. We'll die cut in just a minute. Before we die cut, let's grab the cup and we're gonna cut the little koozie out right on the line. So stamp on that, right on the stamp line, just cut. It's 4 slightly curved angled lines, super simple. But because of the white on the back and the white edge, I do like to grab a Stampin' Right marker, basic black Stampin' Right marker, and just swipe that white edge so that our stamped line looks nice and solid when we paste it in the coffee image. All right, let's get the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and some dies, and we'll cut these out. All right, there's our dies. Let's give them a crank. And our parts. Love that little candy cane. Is that not so cute? And the gingerbread. This stamp set is worth the cost of admission for those little cuties. Oh my goodness. This is one that won't ever leave my collection. A lot of things do go. In fact, we're kind of preparing right now for a BOGO or a secondhand event, something, because I just have so much stuff. But this is one of those things that'll never leave my collection. All right, so I think my Love You More Than is a little bit long. And every little bit counts on this design. It's kind of a small space. Let's get some liquid glue going, and we're going to add the cozy on the cup. And then we're going to get some dimensional adhesive and add a little bit of dimensional at the top of the candy cane. And maybe, I've got minis here. I'm gonna do half a dimensional on the gingerbread. And then a couple on the back of my whipped cream here. Get that liquid glue again. Add some to the back of my cup. Here, let's show you what we're doing here. I keep looking over there. Maybe you want to see too. All right, we're gonna add a little bit on the back and then pop the cup on the tag and the tag on the box. Don't glue all around that little reinforcer because we're gonna thread that with some red and white baker's twine in just a minute. Burnish that. can add our whipped cream. Cute. Love you more than. Get some liquid glue. Ah! Runaway sentiment. Runaway liquid glue. All right. If you guys don't know already, if you're looking in the Dollar Tree for peppermint spoons, that's where I get mine usually. You can also check their craft section for one of these. It's a glue eraser. I wish Stampin' Up! Would carry them again, but it'll just clean up that little sticky mess I made there. See, good as new. I really do like this and those sticky residue. All right, then this little guys. Next, I'm gonna add a dot of glue at the end of the candy cane. We've got the dimensional at the crook at the top. Let's just get that little guy on there. Our gingerbread, we can peel and stick that guy. Oh, it's really coming together. Almost time to embellish. Let's get some with the red and white baker's twine. I'm gonna double it. And then I'm gonna take the loop end and I'm gonna pop it through one of my little floss threaders. I love this floss threader. Let's go ahead and slide that under there. Now the twine is through the loop. We can now just tie this and then make a big loopy bow. Maybe a medium loopy bow. As loopy as you want your bow to be. Now, ribbon scissors. We can cut the looped end and then trim away from the spool. There's our pocket. Let's add some hot cocoa, a spoon, and one of these little gingerbread treats. I like to push my gingerbread kind of up to the top of the bag and then fold the bottom. That way his little sprinkly head can kind of peek out. And our last touch are some of the adhesive backed real red and white peppermints. Got my take your pick tool and I'm gonna take a big one. There's 3 different sizes on here. If you're still trying to get these, they are out of stock again, but they'll be back mid-November. So keep an eye, and we're going to put one over here by more. There it is. That is our Love You More Than Hot Cocoa, More Than Autumn treat tote. If you've got any questions about the project, you can email staycrafty@kitchentablestamper.com. And to shop Stampin' Up 24/7, goes over to marisa.alvarez.stampinup.net. If you're looking for the matching Stamp-A-Stack card class, check out kitchentablestamper.com/shop. And this will be found in our PDF store. There is a link in the description below. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you in the next video.